Hello everyone and welcome again to my Creative African Cooking channel, Ndudu by Fafa. My name is Fafa Gilbert. Now today I'm going to be making the banana fufu, the green banana fufu. If you watched my Hidden Gem series and you watched the episode with Tina Atiemo, she followed my fresh fufu in a pot recipe and subsequently has used green bananas. She emphasized on the green bananas, that it has to be green and hard. I don't think I'll make her forget that statement anytime soon, no. So of course I am going to try that recipe as well and see how it turns out. And I've got my Kwawu mountain soup, absolutely. So let's start. Now this recipe is similar to the plantain fufu recipe that I did make in one of my previous videos. So I'll leave a link at the top so you'll be able to check that one out as well. In terms of flavor, it is interesting. It's one that you have to try. So it's a little bit delicate. This is going to be interesting because green bananas, I'm like, yeah, we do have them in Ghana. But I can see how this would work. It's just, green bananas subsequently should just taste like plantain, if you think about it, because they're unripened, so they're not sweet at this point. Please take all necessary precautions when you're dealing with sharp objects such as a knife. Now, when I was peeling these bananas, they were a bit fiddly because I guess they're smaller and they're green. So yes, just be careful. Best to use the back of the knife to actually peel it, and that makes it easier. Now, I got the green bananas from a local Sri Lankan grocers, that is local to me. So yeah, I'm sure you can get the green bananas in most specialist grocers or maybe in the supermarkets, but you have to ensure that it's green and hard. You can't have any slight yellowness because that's introducing some sweetness to it. And this is the color. The color is just pale in its entirety. But the interesting part is, once it was cooked, it turned into a slightly dark grey color. It's an interesting concept. And yeah, it did work, absolutely. So in terms of flavors, as plantain is plantain. So if you're comparing it to that, I'd say it's delicate. It's not as strong as plantain is, but it's equally lighter. That was interesting as well. It was such a lighter carbohydrate to accompany a soup. So yeah, I gave it definitely a thumbs up. But yeah, you have to try it and then you can tell me as to how you liked it. And next thing as well was the consistency of the banana fufu. Came across as one that you've added cassava to it already, which wasn't even the case. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So anyway, I have peeled my green bananas, as you can see, and I'm just going to blend it. Now I am using the Vitamix blender. It's important that you use a very good blender that can blend everything smoothly, because if not, you're just going to end up with a lumpy sort of consistency. You don't want that. So definitely do invest in a very good blender. I'm sure NutriBullets would also be good in that sense, but I use Vitamix and I've used it for God knows how many years, and it's never failed me. So I'm just adding a little bit of water because I want the consistency to be that of a double cream consistency. Don't be alarmed. I will be leaving the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog in ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com. Now, if you're not sure, what I do is I just add the water a bit at a time. So do bear that in mind, as you can see here, and I just keep blending and blending because I just don't want it to be too watery. That's imperative. So yeah, do follow this process, and I can see it's just blended beautifully. You can see that consistency that I'm talking about now, that double cream consistency. That looks silky, it looks fluffy, and yes, I can't wait to actually cook this. Hey, better let my face and hey. Can you imagine if this didn't work out? Anyway, this is the consistency I want you to achieve, that beautiful, silky, smooth consistency. Just perfect. Now I'm rinsing the blender with just a little bit of water because I detest waste, especially when it comes to food. And I've transferred that into the saucepan and I've placed it on a medium heat. And I'm going to consistently stir this until it hardens up.
Now, the reason why I stirred consistently is to avoid any lumps from forming. Yes, because once it heats up, the water does evaporate and it leaves this beautiful, pliable, silky texture. But if you fail to stir it consistently, then you're going to end up with a lumpy fufu. And definitely, that's like a big no-no. You didn't go through all this effort just to, mess it up. Then again, I like these type of, inventions and, using replacement meals and stuff, especially when you're in the diaspora and you do crave for certain traditional dishes, but then you're limited with the options that you have available in terms of ingredients. So this was definitely a welcomed, recipe. Thank you, Tina. And just as you can see, I'm using my wooden ladle here. I'm using the back of it, which is flatter. And I'm stirring the mixture towards the side of the saucepan. So what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of pressure to ensure that any lumps are broken and I end up with that silky consistency that I keep talking about. Now look how beautiful this is. This actually, it's pliable, it's soft, it's almost like I've added some cassava to it, which of course is not the case. Look at this. Now, the amount of water you also use will depend on how you want the consistency of your fufu to be. If you want it harder, then yes, you can leave it this way. But if you want it softer, you can add a little bit of water. You will notice that I did add a bit of the residue of the blender in terms of the water to my mixture. You can use your normal water, not a problem. But if you do have any residue left, yes, of course, just add that, because I'm going to be steaming this on a very low setting for about 8 to 10 minutes. The reason is to cook this through and to take away any rawness. Now, after 10 minutes, you'd end up with a beautiful, pliable texture. Yet again, this part is optional, because if you want it harder, then it's just best to keep cooking it for about 8 minutes on a medium to low heat and cook it through. But I need it softer because that's how I usually have my fufu. So look at this. This is just steamed perfectly and it's nice and soft. This is so interesting because this is the first time I was making it and filming it at the same time. So I'm like, yeah, let's see how this goes. And look how beautiful and soft this is. And of course, when this cools down, it does become harder. So that's why I did add a bit more water to it. So yeah, now do bear in mind, I will be leaving the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog in Ndudu by fafa.blogspot.com. So don't be alarmed. I just feel like, oh my gosh, just leave me out. So now here we have, look at this. At this point, my green banana fufu is ready. So I transferred it into a bowl, sprinkled the bowl with water, and left it to cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes. So once it had cooled down, I started to emulate the whole fufu thing because the texture becomes slightly harder, and now I'm trying to soften it. So I place it in my asanka. I've got a bowl of water on the side and I'm using the wooden pestle, dipping it in water, and I'm just turning it, as you can see here. This just to allow the consistency that fufu is accustomed to, which is nice and soft, to just happen. And that's just happened beautifully here, as you can see. Now, please ensure that you do wash your hands clean before you attempt to do this. And here we have our pièce de résistance. Look at the texture. I know, right? It's incredible, right? Yes, I know. I was surprised about it. And I could not wait to dig in. I was just like, hey, Charlie, this is like definitely a creative recipe. Green bananas, we do have some in Ghana, most definitely. So yeah, why not? We should try it. Like finding other ways and recipes to use our ingredients for. Why not? Yeah, this is a creative channel. Thank you, Tina Atiemo, for inspiring me to make this. Definitely. And I cannot wait to add my cold mountain soup to this. Ndudu yadi, modunto. Alabadi, flavor sokata on point. Yiduama, navai plopo kodwa kama duty. Ohana kovo recipe. Kane wene na duivodi. You, Vivinawa, Odeku, leave your comments below. What did I say? I think it's about time you start befriending. It's not any other food, it's Ndudu by Fafa. I'd leave the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com, so do check it out. I've also got other creative recipes on my other blog, fafagilbert.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa, so do pass by and say hi. Until next time, take care of you, be nice, be beautiful, and I love you. Thank you for watching.